So this is our project. This is the Acropolis in Greece that houses the Temple of Athena, the Parthenon. And right now we're walking up into the Propylaea, which is essentially the entrance to the entire Acropolis. So you can see it follows the Greek architecture with all of the marble and the pillars. So over on the horizon you can see a couple different large white buildings and what looks to be an animated statue. So we're going to head over first to this large building. So the whole entire Acropolis is walled off so you won't fall off. So we have several different arches put into the wall so that you can get to higher up points. So over here you can see this large marble building, and within it this is the Parthenon, the Temple of Athena, and within it you can see this golden statue of Athena. And if we click on it, we can talk to her. So we used a custom NPC mod to make it possible for students to interact with her. We could have used text bubbles or different signs posted throughout, or information blocks, but we thought it might be more immersive for students to actually talk to Athena in person and get her perspective. So when you click on her, she says, "Hello mortal, my name is Athena, one of the many gods that rules over Greece." And then you can go through and you can ask her some basic questions about who she is, where she comes from, what her family are, who's in her family, and all of that sort of thing. And once you've had a chance to ask all the questions you want to ask, you can go ahead and say goodbye, and she'll say, "Fare thee well, mortal." So then if you look around here, you can also see we have some worshipers put in here. These are also custom NPCs that we put in here. These ones you can't interact with. They're just meant to kind of help with the ambiance of things. So we have some worshipers enter here. And then as we head out, you can see some more buildings that we created in the Greek structure. These were just little fill-in buildings, smaller temples that we didn't have as much information about, so you can't interact with them, but you can still have them there to help with the immersion. And then over here we can see some more worshipers around what looks to be a very interactive statue. And we can see the warrior Athena statue, all decked out in her gear, and we can go ahead and talk to her too. And she says something similar: "Greetings, mortal. I am Athena, goddess of just wars and protector of heroes." And then for this custom NPC that we did in a similar manner to the Athena statue within the Parthenon, you can also ask her questions, and this one is themed to talk about battles that she's been in and different heroes that she's helped, and just how she connects being the warrior goddess. So she talks a little bit about Ares and the difference between her and Ares, who is the actual god of war, and that sort of thing. And then you can go ahead and say, "Thank you, Athena," and say goodbye, and she'll say, "Fare thee well, mortal," again. And then you can go through and you can look at some more of the things that the Acropolis has to offer. So you can see this sort of slanted wall here. Everything within the Acropolis is built entirely to scale, so there is a slope formula that goes with that specific slanted wall. And then over here, we go into another small temple, and you can see over here the Erechtheion building. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And you see this very large tree. Well, the Erechtheion building was used to house the two gifts that were provided to the city of Athens: the olive tree that Athena created, and then the saltwater spring within here that Poseidon created. And essentially what that was is there was a competition between Poseidon and Athena to see who would get to claim Athens, and whoever came up with the most useful gift would get to keep it. And Poseidon came up with this saltwater spring, and because it's saltwater, you can't drink it, you can't water crops with it, you can't really do much of anything with it other than look at it, whereas Athena provided the olive tree, and that provides shade, oil, wood, olives, so food, and was deemed more appropriate. So Athens was named after her, Athens, Athena. You can see the connections there, and she was built, the Parthenon, in her honor. So over here we have Arion, who is another Greek figure. He is one of the lords of horses, and he can actually speak. So he talks a little bit more about the saltwater spring, and he talks about Poseidon. Since Poseidon is the lord of horses, Poseidon is Arian's father, and he talks about how great Poseidon is and how his gift should have been chosen over Athena's. And up until now, we had seen that all the NPCs had really talked about how great Athena is and how she's this model god. And now we're starting to see a different sort of perspective that maybe says that she's not as great as we have been led to believe. So then when we head out through this little door here, we can see the rest of the Ereshkigal building, and we spent a lot of time really focusing on the decor. So we made this very large archway and doorway that's fit for a large goddess. We used different ores with like diamonds and emeralds and gold and all of that to create the borders around here. And we put a lot of detail into it, and like I said, everything is to scale, so this is how large the Ereshkigal building is. We determined that each block in Minecraft is approximately 1 meter, so we determined how tall the buildings were in real life using a grid and approximately 40 or so different reference pictures that we use to see different angles and all of that. So then we can head in here and we can talk to another Athena.